Hello, hello, hello. Since today the subject is hope and hopelessness, and particularly hopelessness, I thought it was good to give a hopeful scenario to talk about it. And I'm so glad to have you, Lucky Lane, particularly with what you have experienced in internet. So I'm glad you're there. Georgina, hello. It's good to have you girls. Ladies, women, gorgeous biz bosses. Type your comments as I'm going to start talking about this very delicate subject, and if you have things you want to tell me. And yes, hello Georgina, so good to have you. Because today it's a dear subject to me, to give me support, so you know what's part of my tools and tasks. Thanks for the hearts. Today I'm here. Let me show you. Good morning. Yes, for me it's the afternoon, Alexis. Let me show you. I have with me, I don't know if you can see this, a turquoise bottle. It's an Aura Soma bottle, and it's number 43, and it's called Creativity, and it's the one I identify with. This is bottle number 26, and even though it seems like it has two colors, it's just orange. It's just that it's an oil-based and it's a water-based, and it's a second chakra color. And since a lot of what we're going to do today is about that, and this one, which is a little bit lighter than the other one, this is 43, I showed you before, and this is 62. This is Master, Ascended Master Mahachohan, with whom I feel a very strong affinity. And so I like to play with my Aura Soma bottles and have them here supporting me in today's connection with you guys and with the above and the world. So I'm going to start today's challenge, day 2, about hope and hopelessness. I should say about hopelessness and hope, because that way it comes afterwards. Tuning in from the sea here in Vancouver. Oh, beautiful. I love that. I love the sea. I'm glad you're in a gorgeous location as well. So, why is it that we're talking about hopelessness and hope? I'm going to just jump right in, because I'm starting with the lower vibration subjects. As you saw, the 7 days. Yesterday I did fear and courage. Today I'm doing hopelessness and hope. But as we go, tomorrow it'll be joy and laughter, and then love and life. We're getting better, but we got to get through these 2 days, which are the difficult days. And I know some of you, because you've shared your stories, haven't had easy times. And I think all of this community, I can talk to the community that I have in here in this undaunted enchantment path, but I also in the so many communities I participate with, and the ones you gals I know you participate in too. Hello Connie, glad to have you. Hello Marina, glad to have you. I'm just now starting to talk about the real issues of today, about hopelessness and hope, so you haven't missed anything yet. So I was saying that I can talk for all of us, ladies, women, biz bosses, mothers, entrepreneurs, dreamers, that we for sure, I can tell for sure myself, I've had lots of times in my life when I was hopeless. And I'm going to start with the shadow part of hopelessness and hope. And when we are connected, I was trying to meditate before this live, because I wanted to make sure that what was coming through was what indeed needed to be communicated. So I was trying to connect with my masters, the channeling, and with the feelings of hopelessness, which thankfully are very far beyond in my life. And I remembered that when I felt the worst of the hopelessness, when I felt the worst lack of aliveness, it was because the key issues are that we feel that we are a leaf in the wind, and that wherever the wind goes, we're being taken, and that we have no control of our lives, that the control is outside of us. We are in the belief, we live under the myth or the belief that life happens to us, and that we are suffering whatever happens to us, and that we have no choice and no say in whatever is happening to us. So that is what puts us in a hopelessness position. Hi, Marina. Because we feel hopeless. We feel we have no way of correcting a situation because we feel constantly that things are happening to us. So this is kind of like the diagnosis. You know, when we go to the doctor, what's the diagnosis? This is the diagnosis. Now, another thing that happens when we are hopeless, when we feel hopeless, is that we forget that we are one. We forget that the universe and us, that we're co-creators. We forget that our sisters, our brothers in the world, we are one. And so as we feel the separation, as actually we don't feel the separation, we forget that we are united. And so we are separate, and we live again under the myth or the idea that we're separate. Then again, we feel hopeless. We feel hopeless, alone, lonely, mostly more than alone, lonely, and feelings that accompany hopelessness are depression, loneliness, lack of energy, lack of vitality, lack of willingness to do things. So laziness, but not laziness as in I'm lazy, laziness as in I really cannot do anything. I feel completely with no energy to do anything. So if you've ever felt this way, you know that you've been there. And at times we might fall in moments of hopelessness. Even when we're doing great, something happens to us. We might lose centeredness for a moment. We get a lot of outside negative stimulus, and for a moment maybe we lose our center and we get hopelessness. We feel hopeless for a moment. So that's why this is an important thing to remember. You know, what does it mean and what is happening when we're hopeless? From an energetic standpoint, from let me see, feeling drained. Yes, so yeah, you're also feeling drained, and that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Marina, for reminding me when I'm talking about not having the energy to do things. We're drained, we're exhausted, and I'm going to share this with you mostly because we're in this close community, but I have been in moments where I did think to take away my life in the past, and I wouldn't even dream of that right now. And sometimes I look back and I think, what the heck, you know, how in the dark I was feeling, and how low and how separated and how little I was understanding of the way in which life works. And I am so happy to be sharing this with you today, knowing that I know better now and that I feel better. And what I was saying is that from an energetic standpoint, hopelessness has a lot to do with the second body. The second body is known also as the bioplasmatic body or the etheric body, and it is born out of the second chakra. Now, the second chakra is located slightly below the navel. For those of you who are not very familiar with the energetic system, I know yesterday you told me kind of. So for the ones of you who know it, just hang in there for 2 seconds as I'm explaining it. So the second chakra is just below the navel, and it has a front part in the front of our belly and a back part in the back, in alignment with our spinal cord. And the second body that's born out of the second chakra is a body that follows the shape of our physical body. It has a height of this much, about 2 centimeters, an inch or so, an inch and a half, 2.5 centimeters more or less, and it goes all around your body. And if you do this now, as I'm talking, if you touch without touching your physical body, you can feel it. It has the element connected with the second body is water, and it has in fact this, like, you know, gelatin or watery substance from an energetic standpoint. why am I bringing this up is because it is in our etheric body, in this second body, that we sometimes, through the shocks that we have suffered, the traumas that we have suffered or are suffering in the moment in which we feel hopeless, our etheric body gets moved out of whack, and it has gaps that can be created in the etheric body. And so these gaps, if you were able to see a Kirlian photo where you can see the etheric body, you would see clearly as if gas was coming out of these holes in our etheric body. This is from an esoteric, from an energetic standpoint. And why this is important? This is important. Thank you for the blue heart, Alexis. This is important because we lose energy. We lose life energy. Yesterday, we talked about the first body. We talked about fear and how fear is related to the first chakra, and how we get the life force from the first chakra and from being grounded and from our roots. And on the second chakra, in the second body, if we get these etheric gaps, that's how we lose a lot of this life force. So this is just an understanding of why when we feel hopeless, we feel drained, like Marina so well said it before. We feel drained, we feel with no energy, we feel depressed and lonely, and all of these low level slow emotions. And also the second body is where we feel the emotions. It's also called sometimes the emotional body, and it is where we feel our likes and our dislikes, where we feel that we belong or we don't belong to a community or to a family, and where we can feel the melting or the fusing with another person. So all of this is hopelessness. Now, the important thing is that, okay, now we got it. This is the feeling that takes away our life force. And how can we move from hopelessness into hope? So this is really what we want to talk about. But I had to start describing very well what are we talking when we discuss. Hi guys, I hope you're still there. Somehow something happened and the video said trying to reconnect. So I'm back, I'm here. I was talking about the bridge, and the line went out, the bridge between hopelessness and hope. So how can we move from one position to a position where we feel again willing to be alive and to be hopeful? This is part 2 of day 2 of the 7-day challenge, Align Your Life with Your Soul and Purpose. And we were left in the conversation in the part where I was about to discuss how do we go from hopelessness to hope. And what I shared with you yesterday, I'm going to try and repeat what came through, is that the bridge between hopelessness and hope starts with the belief that we are in charge of our own lives. So it starts with changing the belief that we are a leaf in the wind going wherever the wind takes us, which is part of how we defined hope. And hopelessness, and what are the feelings that we have and the sensations that when we have when we're hopeless. So when we are in hope, when we're feeling hope, it's the opposite, but with a twist. It's not exactly the opposite of hopelessness. When we are feeling hope, we are connecting also with trust in life, with faith in life. We are connecting with knowing that we have all the resources that we need to have in order to move forth. We know that we're in charge of our lives. We're aware that we're co-creators of
our lives. We know that we can trust, and therefore we have hope. However, hope is still not as elevated as co-creating with our hearts, as I will explain on day 4. In hope, we still are leaving a little bit of control out there. We're hoping that we can be helped. And therefore, this is important, because my invitation to you is to, as you connect with hope, to realize that hope is wonderful and it's a wonderful engine to our lives, but that we must be aware that in order to make this hope valid, we must take action, inspired action. And you will hear me say this a lot about inspired action. And this is a very, very important process and an important part of what we manifest in our own lives. So what was important to understand, what is important to understand, is that sometimes when we are in this pit of dark and hopelessness, more than sometimes, many times, it is extremely difficult for us to reach out and move out of that victim position, move out of that place of defeat into a place of I will battle and I will move into a more positive side of life. And it is very important, and I want to say this, if you have been in this position of hopelessness in the past, you will know this to be true. If you are in and out of this position of hopelessness, please, please, please take this to heart and realize that you might need help. You might need somebody else to reach out, give your hands in an empathic, loving way, and help you come out of there and pull you out of that situation. Because when we are in a position of hopelessness, we're sometimes so immersed in that cycle, in that self-defeating talk, that it's really hard for us to reach out. However, I wanted to leave you with some simple but powerful things you can do to reach out to hope from a position of hopelessness. And this is really the intent of the 7-day challenge, that I can give you some tools so that you can help yourself. And as simple as the tools might seem, sometimes they're not easy to act upon them. So the tools to reach from hopelessness to hope, since when you're in the hopelessness energetic vortex, as you are in it in the moment, it's very difficult at that moment to act. It is important that you take this action I'm about to tell you when you are feeling a little bit better. Because when we're hopeless, we're not always in the dark pit. We're in and out, and sometimes that is the tendency. That's the more of the time we're there. But as we come out of it, maybe at some times of the day, so in those times in which your energy level is a little bit higher, create a routine for yourself. So this is the advice. So create a routine for yourself for the morning when you wake up. When we are in this low level conditions, just like the discussion we had yesterday about when we're in fear and when we're in this hopelessness, one of the hardest things is when we open the eyes in the morning and the world hit us and we're boom, back again into that dark energy that's pulling us down. Because sometimes when we sleep, we can gather some energy and relax. Sometimes these feelings of fear, anxiety, hopelessness, depression doesn't even let us sleep. But if we manage to get some sleep when we open our eyes, it's like the world falls all over us. So the point is to have something to which we can grab onto to survive, to pull us through. And so that's how we build hope. Having something that we don't have to think about it, that's exactly what we will do. So we know that we get up, we go wash our face, we go pee, and then we know that we need to have this routine. Nobody needs to tell us anything again. We don't need to invent it or create it. It's already created. So my point to you is, set this intent when you're feeling at your best in this phase. And so the intent is, get up, brush my face, drink something, grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you need, and do a half hour of, you choose this, of something that helps you contact your higher self. So some people have told me, I don't like to meditate. Okay, meditation is hard for you, do not meditate. Visualization is a little bit easier, then do a visualization. And I have shared with you in the links yesterday, the visualization to contact your spirit guides. It's a half-hour visualization, is wonderful to build hope. And you can use that one, or you can use any other that's available out there. Or you can go walk outdoors. So you get up, you put your jogging, and you go walk outdoors for half an hour. Or if you live in nature, even better. If you live in the countryside, even better. Then you leave the house and you go immerse yourself in an atmosphere that in itself is healing. But do a half an hour of something that you know that you get up, and that's what you're going to do. Now, when you're done with this half hour of connecting with a higher vibration, it is very, very important that you follow up with a mix of journaling and desiring and connecting to the emotions. So how do we do this? We grab our journal and we write down 3 desires we have. And if they're the same day after day, that's fine. You write them down, and you write them down in the present moment as if they were already as if they would have already happened. You don't write them down in the future like, I wish that this and this have changed. No, I write it as, I'm living a life of ease, grace, and joy. It's happening. I'm doing it. Even though that's your wish, you're writing it in the present moment. So you get this. Then you, when you're done writing them, you read one out loud, you close your eyes, you put your hands in your heart, and you take a few moments, minutes, to connect with the feeling of, how do I feel now that my life is exactly like I want it to be? How does this feel to be living in ease and grace and joy? Or how does it feel to be coaching, as many clients as you want? How does it feel to be living with your joyful partner? How does it feel to be having the job you always desired? So connect with whatever that is, and breathe it in and allow that feeling to overcome you, that vibration to overcome you, and relish in it. And when you're done, you open your eyes again, and you read the second wish written in the present moment, and then you close your eyes again with your hands on your heart. You connect with that feeling again. And you do this for all 3 things you have written down in the present moment. Because this connection, this connecting to that vibration is what will connect you with the hopeful feeling and will connect you with manifesting what you want. It's through that feeling and that vibration that you are manifesting and co-creating. But you can only do this part of your morning routine if you've had a half an hour to raise your vibrational level through either meditation, walking nature, dancing, sports of some kind, whatever works for you. So what is very, very important, and don't underestimate what I'm going to say now, is that you establish this routine beforehand. That when you wake up in the morning, you know that this is what you will do, like a robot. You know you have this routine to be done. And it should be about an hour time routine. And when you do this, if you visualize or you meditate, particularly pair this with the lighting of a candle, for example, because it's like a Pavlovian effect. Like you connect through the lighting of a candle has a powerful effect on us from an atavic unconscious level. So if instead you have gone walking outdoors, or you have done some sport or dancing or something more vibrant, then when you come back to your journal and to your intentions and to your feeling part of the ritual, of the morning ritual, then you light the candle before you start to do that, and you do this every morning. So this is really powerful. I hope you can try it for yourself. I certainly do this, even though I'm not in a hopelessness to hopeful situation right now. I'm living through a beautiful phase, and everybody tells me, "Oh, you look so wonderful. Your eyes look so nice." It's because I truly feel that way, and I still have my morning ritual. I've added some things to it. I'm at a better place, so it changes, and I can be more creative, and I have the strength and stamina to do things differently. But it is important that you do this, and I wanted to convey to you that my belief is so strong that there is a life of grace and ease and joy for each one and every one of us. I know this because I've been there. I've been in the dark pits. I've been in the fear and anxiety, and I lived through harsh physical manifestations. I had irritable bowel syndrome for 2 years. My hair was falling in chunks. I couldn't sleep at all. I would sleep 2-3 hours, the basic biological needs from 11 or midnight to 2-3 in the morning at the most. So I know I'm not talking to you only from empathy just because, or from the formation I have had as a healer. I'm talking to you also because I know it firsthand. So I want you to believe it yourself, that this is possible for you, because this is also a very important part of moving from hopelessness to hopeful. And I thank you for listening. I thank you for being here energetically, even as I record this, and for your participation in the challenge. As usual, I bless you. Namaste. Shine bright.